Okay guys, I'm back, and I'm going to show you sort of what you can do with this if-then statement sort of thing. There's three things I can guess you can do with it. Wow, that was a real big whistle on that things. And you can make automatic doors that only open and close at certain times. You probably can make like zoned buttons and little secret things. I'm gonna make the door because it's the simplest thing. I'm not a wizard programmer, okay? I'm better at building things than I am at programming things. So, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Let me move this programmy box. No, bad Roblox. Bad Roblox. Roblox. Yes, okay. So let me go ahead and close this. And the first step is you have to be in your Roblox studio. In the last video, I showed how to get into your Roblox studio. So, for this video, I'm not going to show you how to do it again, but in the next video, I can. So let me go ahead and move my spawn point here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a block. Just like in my F3X videos, you have to go up here to part in your studio, select block, and it will add the block in the color you have selected. I'm going to change my color to like a nice gray. I'm just going to live with this gray this time. And we're going to build our door frame real fast. On how you rescale here is there's a little scale button up here. It's actually pretty easy to use. And it should be pretty nice looking. Remember, whenever you're programming something, you should always create some sort of command block. Now I'll show you that here in a second. I was just reminding you that it's always easiest to store your programs inside of something instead of just putting them out willy-nilly, so that it reminds you of where they are, so they don't get lost. That can happen. You can lose your programs. So we have our door now, right? A beautiful door, isn't it? And now we have to add our actual door, right? And we might even be able to do something fancy with it, which I'll show you here in a second. So I just duplicated the top of this, and I'll show you how to do that because I'm moving pretty fast. That's because I'm thinking what I'm building. So what you want to do is you want to click on the top of this, right? And you want to right click and you want to duplicate. And you can see these arrows, and that's the move tool, which is here. Use the scale button here to rescale what you've duplicated and just stretch it out into the door. There it is. But now we want to define all this stuff so that we aren't confused, right? And I'm not going to delete everything. I'm going to keep the one we made from the last video, delete that one. So now, we're going to define this, and how we're going to do that is we're going to hold shift, we're going to click, 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 and we're only getting the door frame. And we're going to right click on what we've just selected, and we're going to group this all together. And you'll see it show up as a group over here in your Explorer window, and you want to rename your group. And just name it door, and then add the word frame to it. Like that, door frame. And then we'll color it something unique. It's always good to color your different groups different things. I'm feeling like a red. So now we have door frame group. When you click on it, you'll see it. We'll select it. Ignore Bob. Bob only exists in my instance. So then we have part. And I'm going to rename part door, because that's the thing we're actually going to be telling what to do. And I'm going to click over here on door frame in the workspace, right click on it, and group it. And the reason we're grouping it a second time is so we can yank door into it and rename this something. But we have to come up with something to name it. So we'll just call it like door machine. And I pronounced machine weird because it's how I remember machine. So we named it door machine. And then we're going to put the door, the actual door part, into a group called parts. So you want to right click on your door part, group it, and rename that group parts. Now you have a beautiful looking door, right? It's beautiful. But Give me a second. Now, you want to add your program block. And how we're going to do this is we're going to go up to parts, and we're going to add a block. And we're going to recolor it gray, and color is right here on your bar. And we're going to rename this part our computer block, and then we're going to just step back here in a second and evaluate all this, and I'll explain to all you guys what everything's going to do and what it all means and how it's going to work. So now that I've sized this how I want to, and remember I got this block by going up to part and clicking, and it spawns a part, and how you resize and do everything is with these little things up here. You have rotate, just like with F3X, you have scale, just like with F3X, you have move, just like with F3X, and you have color right here. And you even have material. I don't do very much with that in the editor. Now we're going to name this thing here computer block. Over here on our Explorer, and we'll add the word block to it just for the sake of things. Computer block. We're going to go ahead and yank it up into our door machine, group it, rename that group computer, and now go ahead and explain. So basically, this is a very simple program, much like this one I showed in the last video. All we're going to do is we're going to write a very similar program inside our computer block that tells the door to open like every 1 minute. And that way you have an automatic door. I wouldn't do something like this too crazy in a group game, because if you have a door that opens every hour, you're going to have to be there every hour. But you could probably do like a code door. Code doors exist. Like if I go to shop, do code door, they have them. Tons of them. So now I'll go ahead and get right into the program. So we go ahead and click on our door machine. You go down to your computer model, you open it, you go to computer block, and you right click on it, and you insert object, script, rename your script always program, because it makes it easier to know what it is, so it's not just something floating around. I'm going to go ahead and add a bunch of lines here. And then I'm going to borrow old program from one of my machines and then explain to you guys what it all does. Because Roblox doesn't have like a list of commands, so I have to make like a list of commands. And then here's our first bit, and what this bit is that I've added to our door machine here. I probably can rip this out here now. Give me 1 second, I'm resizing my script. Hey, bad Roblox. There we go. Is this will tell the door to open and close based on a variable or an object in the world. You probably can just set a timer. So now what we're going to do is we're going to find our blocks, right? So right now what we have going on is these blocks physically exist in the workspace, and what the workspace is this environment, right? This is the workspace. But the program has to know where these blocks are. We're probably just going to ignore the door frame because the door frame is not going to do anything. The only things that will be doing stuff in our program is this block and the door. So now I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. We'll go ahead and say door, right? This is the name of the thing. And then I don't think we need to define what the computer is. Then you say equal script, which you always name it script. I don't know why, but in theory we've renamed script program. But you should always say script, and then the parent is it getting the thing above it. So this is script, right? If I'm to tell you what everything means, when we put script here, that's this, parent is this, and we're going to go parent, parent, all the way up to door machine, and then that gets what's in this. And I'm going to stop here and read through the list and see if we can find our parts. There we go. So eventually, it's pooping itself. Door. There we go. And you can see here, we have our line door equals, just defining what door is, script, which is this, and then we go parent, which is this, the parent of it is what's above it, computer, another parent above it, door machine, another above it, and then we go down to parts, which is what this is, and then we get door, or not what that is, it's this, which is the door, and then we get the door. And so now the program knows that door is door, and now we're going to tell the door to become invisible on a timer. What I just did is I put a wait in, which is a timer. Waits a certain amount of time. And I'm getting rid of my if-then statement, which is what's down here. This says if something isn't there, right? So this is the first part of the statement. If part 1 was invisible, 1 in Roblox means invisible, then do, which is a little bit of program, which means if this was happening, then make this happen. We're getting rid of that because we're doing something totally different. Now, actually I'm going to keep this piece. We're just going to set a loop of these, and we're just going to take our door, right, the door part, and put it into this. It should say, we should make the door invisible here. And then I might need to go get program from somewhere else and explain it to you guys. Because there's a program that makes something go around in a circle and repeat over and over again. Because program always reads from top to bottom. As you can see, it actually already worked. So, I'll show you here. We should be able to walk through this. Actually, we won't be able to walk through it. Oh no, we was. Okay, that's weird. It's because none of it's anchored. But basically what this is doing is the door is being got, as I've explained. Ew. Roblox does not have a very good interface. Give me 1 second. Roblox is pooping itself because I'm moving this menu around. There. Well, the door is defined, and then it waits a second, and then because the computer knows what the door is, it makes the door invisible, because 1 is invisible. So I'll go ahead and show you guys again how it's going to make the door invisible here. But in theory, you should not be able to walk through the door. Yeah, see I can't walk through the door. So, you have to tell it to set collisions off. Roblox might know can collide. Yeah. What? I think it's because I have this menu like this. Can't see. I think it might be 0. We'll try 0. Basically, what can collide does is it means you can touch it, but if you set it to the right thing, you won't be able to touch it. So we're going to go ahead and try that now to make sure that you'll be able to walk through the door, and then we should be able to set the loop to make sure that the program is repeating itself, opening and closing the door. Let's see if this worked. No, that's wrong. Take it that it's 1. Oh, if it's not 1, then it's true and false. Okay, so with can collide, it's not a 1, it's a true or false. Hey, bad Roblox. False. So let's try this now. There we go. So now the door has become invisible, and we can walk through it. And now I'm just going to make this a little longer, so you guys get to see the transformation. Don't know why we had an error there. Make sure that the software didn't have an error. And I'll just change my weight here. Wish there was a program to tell the program to restart itself, so I didn't have to use the looping program. And I'm actually just going to put this into a block. This would be a great example of a block. As you can see, I'm going to put this program like into a cube, which will make it easier for me to reuse it. And I'm going to reuse this program to make the door close now. So this first block of program makes the program open the door, and this second one will close the door. There we go. Now you guys see that the door is closed. Here in a few seconds, the door will open, and then it will reclose. And also it will lose its collision, as you can see. I should have programmed it to give it back its collisions. I did not do that, so when it closes, it will stay with the ability to walk through it. You have to program it. As I've said before, computers are really dumb, so they don't know. See how I can still walk through it, even though it's closed itself. So that is just something to think about. I'll show you guys how to do that here in a second. But it's actually, no, that's the end of it. Once it closes itself, it's done. And then I'll program it to loop. And then it should just open and close. I should put some of these in one of my games. That'd be really nice, actually. I don't know. Then you have to wait for the door to open and close itself. And yeah, see, so then you want to do is you want to tell the collisions on block 2 to be true, because then it collides. And then we want to somehow get the program to restart itself. I don't know quite how to tell a program to restart itself. So this is pretty much the peak of my skill as a programmer. We'll see here. And then this is probably where I'll end the video because I have no idea how to get the program to restart itself. No. Okay. But as you can see here, the door is shut. We have our programming block telling it what to do. The door is about to open. We can walk through it. And then if we wait a few seconds, it should close itself. And then I'll show you guys how we can make it repeat and repeat and repeat. But I can't make it loop without like a while loop. There's like a special program that will make the program repeat itself. But there's probably a command that restarts the program if you put it in the right place. This here now as you can see, the door has shut itself, and we can't go back through. And that's where I'm going to end the video. In the next video, I'll come back to this door and show you guys how to make the program repeat itself, because it's a little confusing that you can't just make the program restart itself from a certain point.